The biggest collapse in Overwatch League history is now complete. The Vancouver Titans have released the rest of their players that they had on their roster for Season 3. Most of us knew this news was coming because of the fact that there were a lot of confirmed rumors saying that the Vancouver Titans were doing this, but it's still really sad nonetheless to see this news finally appear officially. I don't want to waste any time here because the Vancouver Titans posted a letter to their fans over on the league website, and it's very interesting, and in my opinion, it is filled with some lies. Okay, let me start with the beginning of it. By the way, a link to this will be provided in the description if you want to read it for yourself. So at the start, everything looks pretty okay. They say the following: "We would like to thank Titans fans for your patience during this difficult period. The organization and the team have been dealing with a very complicated situation, which included sensitive information and player confidentiality made even more challenging by the COVID-19 pandemic. We as an organization want to ensure we communicate effectively and will continue to try to get better in this regard as we grow as an esports team and an esports organization." That's good, that's fine, it makes sense. They wanted to apologize and tell everybody what's going on, but then we move on to the second paragraph, and within the very first sentence, we notice a problem. At the start of the season, the team and the organization spirits were at an all-time high. Okay, that just doesn't make any sense. All of the rumors indicate that there were some major internal issues going on before this season even began. Normally, I would just say, they're just rumors. I'll trust Vancouver here, but there's been so many that we're at the point where we can't deny it. And after all the stuff that's been going on these last couple of weeks with Vancouver, it further goes to show there are some serious problems and they may be lying to us. Okay, let's continue though. Now we're going to move a couple of paragraphs down, and here's what they're going to say. "The team started the season with 2 convincing wins, but meanwhile the impact of COVID-19 was being felt across the globe and all businesses were being affected, including ours. With cancelled homestands and travel increasingly limited, the players were bound to their training facility home. Once it became apparent this would be an extended situation, and out of an abundance of caution, the players were flown to their homes in South Korea to be with their families. Our initial plan was for the team to join the Asian division and continue to play the new schedule from the comfort of players' homes, but it was quickly apparent that this created a whole new set of challenges. The time difference made it difficult for management and the home fan base to connect with the team, and technical challenges for the players playing from home further exacerbated the situation. With the organization unable to meet the players' expectations in Korea, and after much deliberation and conversation with the players, the difficult decision was made to move the team back to the North American division, and both the players and management agreed that finding a new home for the players would be in everybody's best interest." A lot of this stuff sounds like it's true most likely, but at the same time, I feel like there's some details they're leaving out for sure, and we'll probably never find out what those are, at least for the foreseeable future. But what I find interesting is in this list of all the people they got rid of, it says they mutually parted ways with everybody except for Fissure, who they released instead, which makes me think that Fissure wanted to stay through all of this even with all of this drama going on, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if he had confidence things could eventually resolve, or maybe he just wanted to make that extra money. I don't know what it is, but Fissure wanted to stay until the very end, it would seem. But what's next for Vancouver? Well, they kind of addressed that in the end of this little article. "There are so many young, talented, and passionate Overwatch players who dream of playing at the pinnacle of competitive play. We are excited to tell you that we will be supporting that path to pro, and in future announcements we will share our plan, which will include introducing our new core of Vancouver Titans players, along with how we will help aspiring young players make the leap into professional play." And if you're wondering how long it's going to take until we get this announcement, well, it's going to be very soon according to them. A force of nature is a collective one, and we know that we need to step our game up in order to truly make that force felt across the league for years to come. We look forward to announcing our new roster of Titans in the coming days. We hope that you join us as we move into this new chapter of Vancouver esports. So stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. The moment we get any news on who the Vancouver Titans sign, I will make sure to make a video about that. And if you're wondering who they're going to sign in the Tier 2 scene, I've heard a lot of rumors that it could end up being a North American Contenders team. I don't 100% know because I don't have any sources or anything, but that's just my opinion on it and what I think could happen. There are some decent Contenders players out there to choose from still, so if the Titans get the right people, they still could at least be an okay team. They might not be amazing like they used to be, but maybe somewhat competitive still at least. This whole situation is so messed up. How did we get to this point? And can we even trust what what Vancouver is saying in this letter to their fans, I really don't know how much of it I can trust because my trust with them at this point has been greatly diminished. Clearly, they were not treating their players the right way, and it got to the point where they were so upset and so stressed out that they just wanted out. The story of Original Runaway is officially over. The chapter has been closed. What a tragic ending to such an amazing story. I mean, it could have been so much more, and it's really, really sad. We start off with Runaway, they're just this okay team, but eventually they build it up over time, and they're contenders in Apex, but they can't quite overcome the greats like Prophet and Jaehong from GC Busan and Lunatic High respectively, but then all of those guys go off to the Overwatch League, and Runaway capitalizes on this opportunity, and now they're the kings of Korea finally. They win Contenders. Now that they finally have gotten over that hump, they move over to the Overwatch League, and they look like the kings there. They look like the best GOATS team in the world. They're dominating everybody. They win the Stage 1 championship. They look like the front runners to win the whole thing. Obviously, that doesn't happen in the end, but they were still Grand Finals runner-ups, which is really impressive, and they had the best record in the league. Look at the individual success, too. Hoxel won Rookie of the Year in 2019. Then guys like Janu and Twilight were in the conversation for MVP that year. They were able to accomplish all of that. They were at such a crazy high peak, but then out of nowhere, they plummet down to planet Earth in a matter of months. I've never seen such a fast decline in all of my life. Going from these crazy Omega title contenders that can compete with pretty much anybody to not even being a team anymore in such a short amount of time is mind-blowing, and it doesn't even feel real. I still don't even understand how something like this even happens. How did we get to the point in a pro sports league where a team just completely collapses in on itself and everybody's just gone at the same time during a season? Like, we've seen teams just disband altogether in the past, but that was usually during the offseason. Look at the Valiant, look at the London Spitfire. Never, though, have we seen this happen in the regular season out of nowhere. In my opinion, this is one of the greatest collapses in all of sports, let alone pro gaming and Overwatch for that matter. I think from a general standpoint, this is one of the craziest collapses you'll ever see across all sports. I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm not even a fan of the Vancouver Titans, and this still just makes me so sad. I feel so sorry for all of the Vancouver fans out there. This is so undeserved. Like, what did you guys do to deserve this? Your team was doing so well, and they just got taken away from you seemingly overnight. There's one other point we have to address before ending this video, and that, of course, is what is going to happen to all of the former Vancouver Titans players now? Well, if you look across social media, you can see that many of the former Vancouver Titans players have already addressed that they're looking for a new team as free agents. Guys like Hoxel, Slime, Twilight, and Janu have all made it very clear that they are interested in finding a new home. Now let's talk about Ryu Jaehong. Don't worry, all of my Jaehong fans. I can tell you right now that as of this moment, Jaehong does not plan to retire. On stream earlier today, he did go on and say that he doesn't plan to retire yet, but that he will be taking a break from the Overwatch League right now because he's been very stressed out over this Vancouver situation these last 20-something days, I believe. I do recall there being many posts out there saying that Jaehong was not happy, so I think it's really good for him to take a break. Just reset his mental and then come back stronger next year, let's say, in 2021. Maybe find a new team. I think that sounds like a good plan. Now for the rest of the guys. Fissure, Stitch, Solman Sue. Right now, I can say that I have no idea what any of those guys plan to do. Maybe they'll try out for a new team, maybe they won't. All I know is right now, none of them have officially announced anything, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. Speaking of Fissure, I can't help but feel bad for that guy. This time he did absolutely nothing to contribute to the drama whatsoever as far as I'm concerned, but here he is getting dropped yet again. The guy's a jersey collector at this point. I mean, if he joins another team, this would be his 6th team in 3 years. Like, that's ridiculous. If Fissure needs the money, I suppose he'll try and find a new team maybe, but perhaps he'll just call it a career finally, because everywhere he seems to go, drama just follows him for some reason. Now looking at all of these Vancouver free agents as a whole now, I'm very curious to see where all of their destinations will lead to, because there are some really talented players out there from that team. Someone like Twilight or Slime, Janu, Hoxel, these are game-changing pieces. I'm also very curious to know if they just want to stay with full Korean teams or if they're willing to expand their horizons to a mixed roster. I'm sure some of these mixed English-speaking rosters are going to be just as desperate as the Korean teams to sign some of these playmakers. Let me know if you have any ideas or theories as to where some of these guys could end up signing down in the comments section. And wait, it would seem there's actually some more information about the Vancouver Titans that I want to talk about before we end the video. This came out not as I was recording this, but according to an ESPN article, the Vancouver Titans are looking to sign 5 players from Second Wind. Now, for the time being, I will consider this a developing story because there's nothing official, but if it's coming from ESPN themselves, there's a good chance this comes true. As for the 5 players they apparently plan to sign from Second Wind, they are Caden, Shredlock, Dalton, Hygon, and Rolf. Now, I don't know a ton about some of these players just because I don't really watch a ton of Contenders since I don't have a ton of time to, but I do know Rolf and Dalton. Dalton, in my opinion, is definitely an Overwatch League caliber hitscan DPS player. He's been popping off in that scene for a while, and Rolf's been around in Contenders too for quite a bit, and he even competed in the World Cup for Canada in the past. The other 3 I really don't recognize. I've seen them play a few times, but I don't know a ton about them. What I can tell you though is that Shredlock is a main tank, Hygon's an off-tank player, and Caden is a flex DPS. But obviously, 5 players is not enough to meet the bare minimum roster size you need in the Overwatch League, so I'm assuming Vancouver's going to be looking at other NA Contenders teams to finish up their roster. I'm not exactly sure what teams they'll be looking at for sure, but we'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything I had to say, so this is the end of the original Vancouver Titans / Runaway roster. It's a damn shame. That Runaway team was together for years, and now all of them could be potentially on different teams. They might not play together ever again for that matter too. Really depressing stuff. Now I turn things over to you guys. What do you think of this entire Vancouver Titans situation? Let me know down in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this content, I would appreciate it a ton if you could hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, thanks so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.